Day.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with Colby, Conway. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Podcast, giving you our first look at the Tuesday 12-game main slate. Colby, after an 8-gamer on Monday, we got a fully loaded slate here on Tuesday. Plenty of top-end pitching matchups to play and plenty of top pitching matchups to attack on this slate.
It's a beautiful thing, John. I would rather have it that way. Give us a little bit of both. Let us actually have some aces to pick from, and then also give us some of the guys that we like to go against.
Definitely some of the guys we like to go against are going to be on the slate, and we'll go over all of that today. Before we do so, again, a quick shout out to our friends over at RT Sports. If you go to rtsports.com/alarm, use promo code alarm23. New users will get a 100% deposit match up to $200. Take part in their DFS Pick'em and DFS contests each and every day over at RT Sports. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to take part in the RT Sports experience today. Break it down, the DraftKings slate here. Colby, 12 games on the board. You have a couple of weather symbols to take note of. Kansas City, Chicago, two similarly close areas dealing with maybe some rain. So we'll have to tune in at the 5 o'clock live stream to give everybody updates on that situation. When it comes to the main slate pitching-wise, Strider, Castillo, and Snell up all over $10,000 here. Gallen, Eovaldi, and Pepio still up over $9,000. Castillo for sure will be your chalk against Oakland. Do you find any way to get to 12-8 for Spencer Strider against Philly?
I don't know if you need to. Looking at first look at this slate, I don't necessarily think you have to. I mean, can you? It's kind of like we talk about Strider's teammates, Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna. We're never going to fault you for paying up for them because on most slates, he's the only guy with a chance at 15 strikeouts.
Right.
I get it. I'm not going to fault you for doing it. You know, he looked good last time out against Philly, which is encouraging. Had the little blow up start beforehand for which I believe your words on Monday were for no reason, I believe was what
no reason. Absolutely no reason did the Cardinals go out there and just light them up the way they did.
Exactly. So I don't necessarily think you have to get the start. I won't fault you for doing it. When you go back, I love Blake Snell. Colorado's not good against lefties, bad on the road. So I definitely think you can get to Blake Snell there. He's been pretty good.
We were worried about Snell against the Dodgers, and he walks only one in that game and has 8 strikeouts.
Go figure. So. For no reason at all, right?
No reason at all. He walked one.
That's the point of the baseball season we're in now. Stuff happens for no reason. The numbers, they're nothing. All these numbers that we say for stats, they're irrelevant. So, Snell probably goes out there, strikes out 10 and walks 6. That's probably what's going to end up happening. But
goes 5 innings, lumbers through 108 pitches, and gets you 30 anyways because of the strikeouts. I would agree. And maybe more people go to Snell, but generally the trend has been this year that if you're facing Oakland, you are the pitcher people are getting to. You have Castillo here. He's obviously been nails. He's faced Oakland, shut them out over 6 in his one appearance against them this year. Obviously, the home road ERAs are a little concerning, but again, in Oakland, I'm not too worried about that. So I'm with you. I think Castillo, Snell, great opportunities to get to. Gallen against San Francisco, I could find myself working to as well. I know bad start for Gallen last time out against the Mets here. A couple of starts against San Francisco this year, mixed results, but nearly a strikeout per inning. But getting him under 10K at home against a Giants team that isn't all that good against right-handed pitching, I could see some reason to play.
Yeah, and if you go down a little bit, the big thing on Pepio is can you get the strikeouts with him, and he's got a good chance against Detroit. They're one of the worst in the league right now in terms of strikeout rate against righties. So the strikeouts. He's not a 10 strikeout guy. That's not going to be him. But if we're going to get 6 or 7 across 6 innings of work, you think it would have to be this matchup.
And I like the 90 pitches. He's got they let him get up there, obviously, 76, 76, 84, 84, 90. Maybe 90 is where they're capping him at. But good to see him continue to pitch deep into games here. Other guys down in the mid-tier range. Anybody stick out to you? We crapped all over Hunter Brown. His last start, and he goes out against Oakland, shuts them out, 7 Ks. No hits them through 5, gets pulled, but a no-hitter at 78 pitches. I know a lot of people are giving Baker there a little bit of crap for that one. Thoughts on his matchup now against Baltimore?
Well, I don't think this is exactly groundbreaking, but it's a little bit tougher than his last matchup, to say the least.
True.
And you look at Baltimore, I mean, they do have a 24-ish% strikeout rate, over the last 2 weeks, but also a 203 ISO and a 327 WOBA. So they can pack a punch, especially with some of those left-handed bats. Hunter Brown, I think you can do it. That's a pretty fair price point for him. But I think otherwise, I almost want one or two of those top guys if I can do it. But other than that, maybe like a drop down to like a Logan Allen type against Kansas City.
Sure.
Or honestly, I hate that he's going against Luis Castillo, but Paul Blackburn has been fairly decent this year.
For no reason at all. Paul Blackburn, over his last 10 starts, is a 3.4 ERA. Does have an unsightly 1.5 whip, but a strikeout per 9 there as well. Tough spot for him because of obviously the spot that the fact that he has to go up against Castillo. I think Clark Schmidt is in a little bit of an interesting spot. Home road splits favoring him here at home, 3.94 ERA. But the one thing that does damage against Clark Schmidt is lefties, and Toronto doesn't really have a lot of lefties in their lineup. You'll face Varsho, Kiermaier, Belt. Is he on the IL or off the IL? I don't know what Belt's status is right now. I know he was banged up for a little bit on IL. So, if there's only one or two lefties that Toronto's going to throw out there, while I know Vladdy and Springer and Bichette and all that crew is a little worrisome, again, Schmidt has been really good against right-handed hitting this year.
Yep, to say the least. So I think there's definitely some options there at pitcher that we can go with. And then if you go back to the list of pitchers, go back down to let's check the lower end options.
Yeah.
If there's anybody here. Let's see. So we get down in this range. I mean, Javier Assad hasn't been necessarily all that in a bag of chips of late, but I mean, it is a matchup against Pittsburgh. You would think this could be a good spot for him to get back to that 20+ point range, just like he did, back at the end of August there against them.
Yeah, back-to-back tough starts for him. Went into Coors, obviously got hit around. Faced Arizona, got hit around, but it was really good there for a little bit of a stretch. So at 5,900, I could find myself getting to that. But after that, again, there's nothing here. We got a couple of openers. You're not going to play Fiedo against the Dodgers here. Tanner Houck, they did let Tanner Houck pitch deep against New York, 105 pitches. He responded, but we know the Yankees can't hit righties. So, how much of that is transferable against a Rangers team? Probably not all too much here. So maybe the cheapest I'd be willing to go is Clark Schmidt on this slate. And just for reference, again, on the season against right-handed hitters, holding them down to a 280 WOBA with a 230 batting average and a 26% strikeout rate. Lefties, on the other hand, just an 18% strikeout rate, a 378 WOBA, and a 505 slugging percentage. So if Toronto's going to go out there with 7 righties, then Clark Schmidt might be a little bit of a sneaky play there at $7,300.
I couldn't agree more.
Let's move on over to the infield here again on the podcast. We kind of give our broad spectrum of the infield positions, giving you a top price and value plays here. If you're looking at the infield, give me some of your top overall plays here that you're looking to target.
Yeah, so I think we'll keep the ball rolling. Jose Abreu at first base seems to be in a very reliable spot, so obviously I'm going to look to him. Shortstop, stop me if you've heard this before, Corey Seager. I like to continue rolling with him. Yep. I'm going to be fading Trey Turner as good as he's been. I don't really want him against Spencer Strider. And then also at shortstop, I think it's going to be the toughest decision of the night. Bobby Witt Jr. against a lefty has been money in the bank of late. Yeah. I think I love Corey Seager as much as I do. I think I might actually prefer Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop.
Bobby Witt up over 6Ks and 6K now for a few slates. The speed's been there, the power's been there. Then, as you mentioned, on the year against left-handed pitching, kind of been his major split side. 298 batting average against lefties with a 229 ISO on the season. So I could definitely find myself looking to get there. CJ Abrams, for me, again, I want to play as much against Urena as I can. And while I know Washington isn't as appealing of a lineup as they once were, I do think Abrams is in a good spot here to bounce back, and only the 211 average. It does have 3 homers over the last 10. Joey Meneses here in the mid-tier at first base at $4,100. A guy that was actually hitting righties better than lefties this year, so it could be a good spot for him against Urena. Has a little bit of pop for your lineup there. You mentioned going with Dom Smith as well. As a guy that $2,800 could be a value play for some power. 294 with a 901 OPS for him over the last 10 games. So give me a Nats stack across the infield here against the Urena.
Yeah, and then also if you go over to third base too, assuming everything goes well or had gone well Monday with his return to the lineup, Josh Jung against lefties. 314 ISO, OPS up over 1,000 with a 648 slugging percentage this year. So assuming everything checks out with his hand, he's going to be he's going to be. Well, he's not. I guess he's technically not getting a lefty, but never
Still
mind.
still a lot of power. Tanner Houck gives up some
Yeah.
home runs. So I like that. I like the Brian Hayes against Assad there as well. Morel has some power, though more against righties and lefties. We've been going against Uvalde. Maybe Devers here, who's on a hot streak right now. 4 homers over the last 10, 382 average.
Yep, I don't mind that at all. I'm trying to think I'm trying to look here at the infield, some of the BVP numbers that I'm seeing quickly, if anything
I could
jumps
run
out.
Gleiber against Kikuchi here at 44.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep. I'm trying to see here. Looking around, does anything really stand out? So Colorado, Brennan Rodgers actually hit Snell kind of well, but he's not one I willingly want to attack.
Not in course, so kind of tough to trust. J1 Base, $3,300. I don't mind him if he leads off for Pitt against Assad. It's probably it, though. I mean, we mentioned a value first baseman. There's obviously some top-up spends if you wanted to get there. Freeman against Fiedo, obviously somewhere that you could take a look at. Olsen's going to get Lorenzen as a long reliever, so certainly potential for him to take him deep when they find themselves into some lineup spots. Nathaniel Lowe as well, another guy that I think could do some damage here.
Oh, Josh Naylor down there too. He gets a righty. It's been a pretty lucrative spot more often than not.
Yes, 100%. All right, let's move on over to the outfield. Take a look what we got going on over here. Again, top end talent: Acuna, Betts, J-Rod, Judge, Bellinger. The whole 9 yards. If you're looking at 55 and 100, 5,500 and above, where do you find yourself? Initial keying in on as like a top play for you.
I am struggling between the two. I'm going to say the 2 Houston outfielders, though one of them with an outfielder label is a little bit generous. I think the decision is going to be between Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker going up against Kyle Gibson. I think I would lean Kyle Tucker. He's been pretty good. You save a couple $100 there. So I think of those top guys, I mean, I do love Ronald Acuna as well, but that price tag is whoa. That's pretty good. But I think of those top guys, I think Kyle Tucker is probably my preferred play of these outfielders.
Yeah, Gibson this year against lefties, 358 WOBA, 494 slug, 297 batting average. So good opportunity to go ahead and target. Soto against Seabold, I like that one at 57 as well. Working our way down more into the mid-tier range. Ozuna will get Sanchez, then Lorenzen, and Fine. Lane Thomas against Urena. Again, I'm all in stacking against the White Sox starter here, so that feels pretty good. If you're not a believer in Hunter Browns, through 5 innings, you have Mullins, you have Santander, some power and bats there.
Yep, absolutely. And then if you go down a little bit more for some value, Texas, they're not getting left-hander. In fact, so if you go with them getting a righty, Evan Carter still pretty cheap, and he's been pretty productive, and he stayed relatively cheap for us here on DraftKings. So I think you can go him, and then I'll go back to the well again. Until a pitcher can stop Mark Canha, he's going to be in my DraftKings lineups. The pricing has not caught up to the recent production, so I'm going to continue to stick with him.
Yeah, 3,200, 378, 993 OPS the last 10 games. I like that call. Ryan O'Hearn's a guy that we're always in on. Again, Brown, if you're not a believer, great value for him at first and third base. Wilder Abreu's here at 3,500. He played the other day. Could get in against Evalde. You mentioned Carter already. There's someone else. Outman. I don't mind Outman against Fiedo here at $3,800. Could be a decent value play. Let's see. Anybody else?
Probably Profar. He's fine against righties. I would take him on that side of the split.
Sure.
He stayed too cheap too.
Yeah, and if you're not playing Clark Schmidt, I mean, Varsho, he's not playing well, but he is a lefty bat. That's the only thing giving Schmidt trouble here. Kiermaier could fit into that spot as well. So breakdown of the outfield, infield, and pitching positions. Let's close out the show here. Colby, what a lineup. We wanted Snell and
Good with Snell. Let's do Clark. I'm not putting any faith in those. I'm not going to keep Clark out of my lineup to play a Toronto left-handed bat that I don't really believe in, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, under 300 WOBA against righties. At this point, we're at a sample size where it's long and big enough to believe. Yeah. He faced Toronto this year? He had to have, right? Yeah, shut them out. 3 unearned runs, but 8 Ks in that game.
2 home runs, no earned runs. I love that.
2 home runs, no earned runs. Someone threw the ball away. 26 fantasy points in that loss. So
take that.
Willing to give him a look here. All righty. Some of our favorite plays here on the slate. Where do we want to start?
Well, of course, we didn't really. Oh, okay. So skip catcher. Okay. So I would say let's get Kyle Tucker in the outfield.
Okay.
That's the one I like a good bit. Well, I guess at this point, do we just go back to Jose Abreu at first base?
Yeah, we'll go Abreu. We'll go Canna.
Yep.
Is he super cheap? 34, so 37. We have a punt catcher down here somewhere. I'm still okay going with Canby Sign with 33.
Ooh, Gabriel Moreno's there.
Him and Moreno, I guess, would be the two I'd look at.
Yeah.
Moreno's 31.
Yeah, I would say it's probably.
Let's go Moreno at 31. See ourselves a couple extra bucks if we need it.
Yep.
39.50. We had another outfielder down here that we were looking at. O'Hearn. I like O'Hearn. Where is he? 35.
Yeah, it's good.
41 for second, third, and shortstop.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's not bad. I liked. I wanted to get Abrams in my lineup here.
Yep.
So Abrams is 48. That gives 37.50. Let's see.
How much is Andres Jimenez?
37.
I don't think that's horrible.
$3,800 for our third baseman. Let's see.
And we can move off Jimenez. He's just
Yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing what else there's down here. Would Vargas play?
Oh, I know it's more money, so it may not
Vargas
work
is playing pretty well.
What's Glaber? Because we had talked to him against.
I think we get there. Right there. Boom. Get Glaber and then move Vargas in the lineup. Get another Washington guy. He's actually hitting the ball pretty well right now. 345, 871. Gives us $400 left over to play with. So if you weren't in on, let's see, where's Kybert? We got Kybert here anywhere? Ruiz? Oh, so close. Logan Porter, Logan Porter out here hitting the ball a little well. Furman's on IL, so maybe they got Porter in the lineup, but
and especially like at shortstop, instead of like Abrams, if you end up like going to like Bobby Witt, you could put Porter in there and get a mini Kansas City stack if you were going to go that route.
Yeah, 100%. So there's just an example lineup. Everybody: Blake Snell, Clark Schmidt, Gabriel Moreno, Jose Abreu, Gleyber Torres, Vargas, Abrams, Tucker, Canna, and O'Hearn. Be on the lookout for the full playbook write-up. Justin Vreeland will be on that for Tuesday. We'll be back live 5 o'clock Eastern for the live stream here. If you have any questions, get us in Discord. Find us on Twitter, and Colby and I will catch you guys later.